it's Van and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, guys, we're gonna get a little bit serious, hopefully not emotional, but for 2 weeks now, since I came back to YouTube, I've been wanting to talk about something very personal, something that not everybody knows about me. I look a mess right now because I'm not trying to get cute, because I'm talking about something serious. I look a hot mess right now. And by the background, yes, I'm not home. I'm at my mom's house. I wanted to film this video with my girl, but I feel like I'm just better off talking about this by myself, because some things I don't know if I'm comfortable yet talking about in front of somebody. But to you guys, I feel like you guys deserve to hear it, because I know I'm not the only one that's been through this. So the purpose on making this video is just to spread awareness about what I'm going to talk about, just to let you guys know, for the ones that have been through what I've been through, that it's okay, that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, I look really busted, like I'm breaking out. Sorry y'all, this is the real me. But okay, I don't even know where to start with this, because this is just something I haven't talked about in 14 years. So it's like I kind of gotta backtrack a little bit. But okay, so I want to say it started about when I was 7 years old. Or I think it happened when I was 5 or 6. Because 7 is when it all went down. I'm gonna start and say by around 5 or 6, my mom met this guy. Okay. They were together for a long time. They ended up having a kid together, and that kid is my sister. I brought my sister on my channel. I don't want to say a handful of times. I think a couple of times I brought her on here. But yeah, so that guy is my sister's dad. I really don't remember a lot of it, but I'm just gonna speak on what I do remember. I'm gonna be like thinking a lot, because this is again something that I haven't even spoke to anybody about, not even my own mom. I mean, she obviously knows what happened, but not even my own mom. I have never sat down with her. I've never really sat there and talked about this with her. I went through counseling. That didn't even help, because I didn't even sit and talk with a counselor. And since I was so young, I didn't really know what was going on. So when I went for counseling and therapy and stuff like that to talk about what was going on, so that way I don't grow up with it in the back of my mind. But now that I'm already grown, I feel like I'm mature enough to talk about it now. I don't remember how it started, but my sister's dad, so growing up, my dad was in and out of my life. So I saw my sister's dad as my dad for a while, until he started asking me if I wanted to have fun. And no, it's not, oh, let's go play with my Barbies and stuff like that. Obviously I didn't know what was going on, so I was always like, yeah, let's go have fun. And you know, I didn't know it was wrong, because again, I was young. I was like, let's go have fun. And I was like, okay, let's go have fun. And I didn't know, again, what was right from wrong back then. I was young. I ended up telling my mom about it, and she never believed me, so it kept happening. It kept happening until I was 7 years old. If you're from Chicago, I was living in Humboldt Park at the time, and the street I was living on was Evergreen. We used to live on the 3rd floor in this apartment building that was right across the street from the tennis court. And we were on the 3rd floor. And when I turned 7, or before that, like I was saying, sorry, I'm like all over the place. So I ended up telling my mom. She never believed me until the age I turned 7. One day I was sleeping. She caught my sister's dad in the act. I was sleeping and he was on top of me, raping me. So when that happened, I jumped out of bed. I was scared. I was shaking. I was crying. There was just so much that was going on, because again, I was young. I didn't know what was going on. I thought what he was doing was okay, you know, until something in me just told me to tell my mom, like before I turned 7. So like when I was 6, I want to say, I ended up telling her because I was growing up and realizing like, okay, this is something he shouldn't be doing. So I ended up telling my mom. She didn't believe me, so it kept happening until I was 7. And my mom has a tendency of waking up in the middle of the night and checking up on me. When she did, she walked in my room and saw him on top of me. This is not easy to talk about at all. I was scared. I was crying. All I seen was my mom like grab him and like hit him. She was hitting him full forcefully in the back. He was on the floor. She was kicking him. And I was just sitting there crying and crying and crying because I didn't know what was going on. So my mom grabbed me, and I think she grabbed my sister. And we ran out of the house, and she called the cops. And my mom was like, oh, he raped my daughter. I caught him. So he ended up getting arrested. And again, I was so young. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was happening. I'm sorry I'm crying. I didn't expect this to come out like that. I was crying, and my mom kept calling him a child molester. And I was like, Mommy, what does that mean? Mommy, what does that mean? She was like, it's okay, baby. Mommy got you now. I'm so sorry. She kept saying she's sorry. She kept telling me how sorry she was. I was like, for what, Mommy? For what? She was like, baby, I'm so sorry. I didn't believe you. And then finally clicked, and I was like, it's okay. It's not your fault. He ended up getting arrested. For child molestation. I think that's how you say it. I'm so ugly when I cry. I'm sorry I'm crying because, again, this is something I have never spoke to anybody about. And this is the first time I'm actually sitting here talking about it. Because since the age I was 5, my mom's always asked me, are you ready to talk about it? Are you ready to talk about it? I always said no. I mean, I told her I was going to film this video so she knows about it, because she wants me to put it out there, and she wants me to put his picture out there. So I will be putting a picture of him in this video, just so everybody could be on the lookout. If they ever run into him, keep your children close to you, please. Please keep your children close to you. But he ended up getting arrested. And then I ended up going to the hospital. That was my first time riding in an ambulance car, actually. That was my very first time riding in an ambulance. The reason why I went to the hospital was because so I could get checked out. And being in the hospital is something that I remember very well, because it was the most traumatic time of my life. So I was in the hospital for about a day, I want to say. I don't know. I actually don't know if I spent the night in the hospital. I think I did, because they were running tests on me, making sure everything was okay down there. He didn't give me no diseases. My mom just kept asking. My mom was just scared about my virginity being taken because I was so young. So she kept asking, like, will she still be able to have her virginity? I don't remember what the doctor said, but all I remember right now is my mom just asking the doctors about me still being a virgin. And then they ended up having to do all these weird ass tests, and that made me uncomfortable even more, because they had to keep shoving like Q-tips, like, you know, those long Q-tips that doctors use to clean like your throat. So they put that up me. I remember was seeing blood come out from down there, and that's what made me scared, and I knew something wasn't right. And as I was in the hospital, I had this police officer that was my friend, because she was the one that was there for me when all of this happened. She was the one there for me when all of this happened. Like, she's the one that held my hand while I was being put on the stretcher. um telling me that it's gonna be okay. She was the one who was in the hospital room with me because I didn't want to take my clothes off. So she ended up taking her shirt off just to make me feel comfortable. Like, not naked though, but like she took her shirt off. Like, she was just in her bra and telling me, like, look, it's okay. They just gotta do their job. They just gotta check you. So I was like, okay. So seeing her do that, and then I had my doctor do it. She took her shirt off and was just in her bra. So I was like, okay, I got this. So I ended up letting them get me undressed so they could continue doing all these tests and stuff like that. And I wish I remember the officer's name, but I don't. This shit is so hard. I did not expect this to happen. I'm glad I decided to do this by myself because the next day I ended up leaving the hospital and still everybody was still in shock. I don't know if we ended up going back to the house or what. I don't remember that. I think I ended up staying with my grandma until my mom moved out of that apartment because we couldn't go back because, you know, she would have flashbacks of what happened and stuff like that. I ended up getting admitted into therapy at the age I was 7. This is when all this happened, when I was 7, because that's when my mom caught him. So when I was 7, I ended up getting admitted to Mount Sinai Hospital for therapy. It was called Under the Rainbow. I think it was the 6th floor. I went there and I had a therapist named Erica. Erica Wicks was my therapist name. I loved her so much because she was my therapist till I was about 13 or 14. And not once did I sit there and talk about this. I tried, but then I started crying and I was like, no, I can't do this. So every time I went for my therapy session, we were just playing. Like, we were playing games, we were playing in the sandbox, we were playing restaurant. And not once did I talk about this at all. Not with my mom, not with my therapist, not with my family members, nothing. Like I said, y'all, this is the first time I'm actually talking about this in 14 years. And I did not expect it to be this hard. But I never talked to her. And then she ended up leaving Mount Sinai and getting a new job. So she was like, would you feel comfortable if you had another therapist who wasn't me? And I said yeah at first. So she left. A couple weeks went by and ended up meeting my new therapist. And I couldn't do it. It wasn't the same. I didn't even tell my mom, like, oh, I don't like my therapist. I just wasn't comfortable because I grew a bond and I grew so close to my old therapist, Erica. I just didn't want a new therapist, so I told my mom I'm just gonna stop going. So I just ended up stop going to therapy. And then again, my mom kept trying to get answers out of me, and I wasn't ready for any of it. Years go by and here I am. I made it. I'm just so thankful to God that it didn't get worse than that. Like, he didn't try to kill me. He didn't strangle me. It could have been way worse, and I'm thankful it wasn't. So thankful it wasn't. Like, I think about that every day. I'm not even gonna lie. I think about that every single day. Like, what if I wasn't here right now? What if he killed me? Because I told my mom, you know? What if he tried to kill my mom because she caught him? What if he tried to kill my sister? What if he killed all of us? You know, that's the shit I think about. When my sister turned 12, because my sister was very little when this happened. When my sister turned 12, my mom finally ended up telling her, like, your dad raped your sister. And my sister was like, what does rape mean? And we had to explain it to her. And my sister was like crying. My sister was hugging me, asking me if I was okay. And mind you, I was already 16 and my sister was 12. And that's all my sister kept doing, was hugging me, telling me that she's sorry. But really, it wasn't nobody's fault. And if you've been through what I've been through and you're blaming yourself, don't do that, because it is not your fault. I'm actually thankful that my mom caught him when she did, because who knew how long that could have happened for. So my sister ended up telling my mom, I don't want nothing to do with him. I don't ever want to see him. And he was still in jail. And so my sister does know who her real dad is, because since her dad's been locked up, she's been calling my dad dad. So she grew up thinking my dad was her father until she was 12. So we had to tell her, no, your dad's in jail. Your dad's in prison. And we explained all that to her. And she was like, I don't want nothing to do with him. That's not my dad. After that is when... So I'm going to bump up a couple years. He's been in jail since I was 5 or 6. In 2019, which was last year, he was released from prison, and that was the scariest day of my life. Like, with me already being grown, that shit was so scary to me, because my mom got an email saying he was being released, and my mom kept asking me, are you okay with it? I was like, I mean, I'm fine with it, but I don't have a choice, you know? I don't have a choice whether I'm okay with it or I'm not okay with it. I really don't have a choice, because they're gonna release him anyways. My mom said that he wasn't allowed to be in Chicago, that he had to be out of the city, so he was living in Aurora. And then I think a couple weeks ago I was searching up his name, and it says that he still lives out there, or in Joliet or something like that. But then, because my mom still has contact with his mom, because his mom gives my sister money, because at the end of the day, that is still my sister's grandma, even though I don't fuck with her, because she still claims him as her son and still thinks he didn't do anything wrong. His mom blamed my mom for wrongfully accusing him of raping me, and she just doesn't see anything he did wrong. She doesn't see him as a bad person. Like, are you serious? So I don't fuck with her. I honestly don't even fuck with anybody on that side of the family, to be honest. Like, I honestly feel so uncomfortable knowing that everybody that has to do with him is related to him, you know? So I try to keep my distance. His mom gives my mom money for my sister, like child support, you want to say. So he is released from prison, and every day it scares the shit out of me, because I'm like, what if I run into him? Or, you know, like, what if he does try to kill me now? That's the shit I think about. And every day it's scary, because we live in such a small world. You could run into him like that, you know? So I looked him up, and it still says he lives in Aurora. But what my mom hears from his mom, that he used to live with her, and we just get the runaround, because he's not supposed to be here in Chicago. But I'm gonna leave his picture here, so everybody knows. If you see him, call the cops. Hold your children tight, because I don't want him doing what he did to me to anybody else. So here I am. I'm 21. I am a rape victim survivor. And if you have been through what I've been through, just know it's going to get better. Just know it's gonna come to an end. Seek help, find help, run, call the cops. Just do anything in your power. Just know that we're gonna be okay. Because I know there are many women my age or younger or older that have been a rape victim, and it's not something to play about. I didn't think the world was a bad place or had bad people in it till this happened to me. And every day I hear about like stories about how parents beat their kids or let their boyfriends touch them or abuse them, and it's just like, what's wrong with you, you know? That's his picture. And I'm doing this not for attention. I'm not doing this for anybody to feel bad for me, because honestly, I don't need anybody to feel bad for me. He is out of prison. Um he ended up having another baby, and I want to know who his baby mama is, because I want to tell her what the fuck he did. Um and I feel bad for that baby, because who knows if he's doing it again, you know? Who knows what he's up to? And that's the scary part. Who knows what he's doing to that baby when that mother is not around? Because if he did that to me while I was young, I know he's gonna do it again. And it's just scary. It's so scary. Like, I literally try not to live my life in fear, but every day I wake up with this man in the back of my mind. And I tell myself every day, if I run into him, he's a dead man. He is a dead man. Because back then, I wasn't able to stick up for myself and tell him no. But now that I'm grown, you got a thing coming for you. You got a thing coming for you. And I don't give a fuck if any of his family sees this. I don't care. I'd rather go to jail knowing that I'm safe and that my family's safe and that my mom is safe and that my sister is safe than have him out here wandering the streets. This is not something to play about. And I honestly don't care if anybody has anything negative to say, because my whole family knows about this. They may not know that I was going to make a video about it, but my mother did. My mom knew, and that's the main person I asked and told that, Mom, I'm going to tell my story now. I'm finally ready to let it all out. I'm finally ready to answer the questions you've been wanting to know. You know, it was not easy to talk about, but I honestly feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder, because for 21 years I've been carrying this weight on my shoulder. Avoiding questions, avoiding being pulled in a room, being talked to. Trust me, I went through a lot. I went through a lot. I done went through witness. My mom done went through witness, where they ask her questions in the office. I've done been in front of a judge. I've done answered questions that I didn't want to answer. And I was so young. So young. And imagine a little girl being put through all that. Having to sit there not knowing what's going on, having adults touch you down there, looking at you just to test you and make sure you're okay. Having cops and ambulance and fire trucks rushing up to your apartment, grabbing you, telling you it's okay. It was crazy. It was so crazy. Like, I can't even explain. I don't wish this upon anybody, ever. And I don't even forgive him for what he did, because if you're that grown and you're a grown ass man, you know what the fuck you were doing. You were just sick as fuck in the head. You knew what the fuck you were doing. And I hope every day that you spent in that jail cell or prison cell, you thought about what you did. I'm not going to sit here and say I forgive you for what you did, because I don't. I haven't forgot what you did, and I have not forgave you for what you did. And I don't think I ever will. Oh, and my mom told me that he has mine and my sister's name tatted on him. Like, are you still mental? Like, are you still fucked up there? Because clearly you are. Okay, I hope that's better. I kind of fixed my hair or whatever. But that is why today I have guy problems. Like, I don't feel comfortable around grown men. I don't feel comfortable if I'm left alone in a room with one, or if I'm in one room and they're in the next. I still don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable smoking with other guys. I just don't feel comfortable at all. I just don't feel comfortable around grown men, and that is because of him. That is why when I was in a relationship with guys, it never lasted, because I just didn't feel comfortable. And when things got intimate, it kind of started feeling weird. Like, I didn't like it. I just have a problem with being around men, talking to men. Yeah, I just don't feel comfortable. But yeah, so I did it. I finally was able to talk about it. It took me a minute to talk about, but I did it. But again, I'm sorry I cried during this video. I'm not really one to show emotion. But again, this is my very first time talking about this in 14 years. In 14 years, guys. In 14 years. I have not answered one single question about what happened to me. Ever. And now I'm ready to put this out there in the world, because it's time. It is time. I can't continue living life thinking shit about it anymore, because I feel like everybody deserves to know. And I know there's a lot of women and girls and little girls who can relate to my story. So that's why I did it. To show you that you are not alone. If you guys go on Instagram or on Facebook right now, search up this makeup artist. His name is Hank and Henry. He has this quote that says, "The world is better with you in it." And I live by that quote, because when that happened to me, and when my mom finally explained to me everything that was going on, I honestly didn't want to be here no more. I wanted to kill myself. So when I first heard that quote from him, it touched me. I was like, follow, heart, follow, 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 follow. He's so inspirational. And it's like, I see people on his fan page commenting and stuff like that about, being a rape victim. And it's just like, if they're brave enough to share their story, so am I. I just want to thank you guys for making it to the end of this video. And I'm sorry it's been such an emotional roller coaster, but I do appreciate and love every single one of you guys. And like he says, the world is better with you in it. And if you ever want to talk about something, just know that it's gonna stay between me and you. You can hit my DMs, you can comment and say that I DM'd you, or whatever the case may be. I'm all ears. I've been through, I think that's the worst shit I've been through, but I've been through more on top of that. That's not the only thing that I've been through in my life. I've been through a lot more bad stuff. I'm trying not to swear as much, so I'm sorry. But thank you guys. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And turn on your post notification bell. And I'm sorry for looking like a raggedy rag doll, but I just wanted to make this video very raw and show you that this is the real me, and just sit here and talk about being sit here and be serious with you guys and have an actual conversation. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I love you all.